Good morning, friends and Bitcoiners. My name is Mr. Clifford Mitchum, and I am the Educational Director for BitcoinCrypto.News. And we are starting our show, BitcoinCrypto.News Crypto Kickoff, where we're going to take you through last week's performance to give you an expectation of what to expect in next week's performance and the future of cryptocurrencies. So we're going to be moderating our chat in our Facebook today, and YouTube ran into a little bit of technical issues, so we'll get that one next week. But in the meantime, we have Mr. I that's going to be in charge of the chat, so be sure to write in your questions, comments, concerns to him, and he'll let us know as the show progresses. So, Mr. I, you want to kick us off?
All right, we have a quick disclaimer. The information provided in this course is for educational purposes only and is not financial or investment advice. For financial advice, please speak with a licensed professional.
Outstanding. So with that, let's go ahead and kick it off. So, looking at the performance of Bitcoin, we want to always start with Bitcoins because Bitcoin is our leader. Basically, when Bitcoin gets a sneeze, all the other altcoins get the flu. So we can look at Bitcoin itself to get a good gauge and performance of what the cryptocurrency market itself is going to do. Obviously, we know there's far more than just the single Bitcoin. We have over 1,800 different cryptocurrencies available. Bitcoin just being the granddaddy and papa of them all. So last week in Bitcoin, it started out at a price of $6,341.36, and then finished out the week at $6,423.76. Overall, that's only an $82.40 increase, which it equates to only about 1.2%. Essentially, in the crypto space, we know that is like nothing. 1% change is sneeze. So essentially, we could say the market was flat or it was going sideways, to use a technical analysis term. So with that, we had very little activity over that. I really feel that a large portion of the market itself is waiting to hear back about what's going to happen with the exchange-traded funds or the ETFs. So I don't expect much activity between then and now. Obviously, we're going to have some fluctuations, but overall over the week, I don't expect too much to happen until the end of September when they make that announcement as far as what they're going to do. Now, what we want to do is take a look at what was going on last year so we can get a good gauge of what it was doing then. So last year at this time, it started out the week at $3,880.04 and then finished at $4,160.62. That's a $280.58 increase for that week, equating to about 7.2%. That just beats day trading of 5% as far as activity, and overall is not much just as far as activity goes in the crypto space, particularly because this was leading up to the big happening where everybody was really kind of running into cryptocurrency. So you can really look at the 2 weeks and say that they're both essentially flat. You did have a small increase last week, but 7% just isn't that active as far as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies go. But the thing to really keep in mind, what was the price of Bitcoin then? What is the price of Bitcoin now? You're talking about then it was $3,880 to start that week. Well, this week it started out at $6,340. That's almost double. So overall, for those of us that had cryptocurrency and had Bitcoin last year, we still got over 100% return, close to 100% return on what we initially started with. If you got in December, you're still a little wrecked, and that happens. But we want to keep that in mind. The future of cryptocurrency is what we really have to focus on and get the expectations of what's going to be happening as we progress. We do have greater adoption, and a lot of people that did get wrecked in December are still here and they're hobbling through. So, Mr. I, we have anything going on in the chat?
Yeah, we have Julie joined the chat.
Hi, Julie.
And Latoya joined the chat. You can feel free to chat it up. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
Perfect, yeah. Especially if you have a question. If you have a comment, you can just put that in there and we can leave it. But if you have a question that's particularly important, be sure to put it in all caps. That way Mr. I's eye can jump to it directly, and we can go ahead and get that answered for you. But thank you and welcome to the inaugural show that we have going on. So when we look at Bitcoin, we have to take it into a longer term view. it's not something that we can just take 1 week and gauge exactly what the performance is going to be or what's going to happen. We need to look at it in over a longer period of time. I really feel that one of the best ways to do that is looking at it from a quarterly perspective. So every 3 months actually makes a quarter of the year. Currently, we're in the third quarter of the year. Yeah, the third quarter of the year as we finish it up. So now, when we look at what happened in the third quarter last year, it started out at July 1st, a price of $2,436.40. And this year started out at $6,367.29. Still close to that double. And it finished out the quarter last year at $4,331.71, a $1,902 gain, which was 78% increase. Now, based off the bear market we were having this year, there is not likely that this quarter is going to end up on that same path. Plus, that was also building to the big happening where everybody was running into cryptocurrencies. But for this year, it's year to date, and we're only a third of the way through the quarter. It's at $6,434. It's just about a $67 increase or a 1.1% gain. It's up, but it's really not up in a significant manner. It's still pretty much sideways. And as I mentioned before, I really feel this is due to the ETF trading. Everybody is so welcoming to the institutional money. Come into Bitcoin, we want you. But at the same time, that institutional money is going to bring a lot of regulation, which we don't necessarily like in the decentralized crypto community. So it's kind of a bittersweet. Although we would love to see the adoption, and we'd love to see the Lambos and the mooning and everything rocketing up as far as cryptocurrencies go. But overall, this quarter is pretty flat, and I really feel it's going to be that way until September when they announce the decision on the appeal as far as trading into ETFs. Now, anything going on in the chat there, Mr. I?
Yeah, Julie says, I have to get ready for work, but I'll share with everyone. Love you both. Thank you very much.
Outstanding. Thanks for stopping by, Julie. I appreciate the support. Or we appreciate the support. It's not just me.
Yes.
All right. So, as I was saying before, overall for that quarter, it's pretty flat. Now, when we look at what was going on last year, we had that big build up to the all-time high that we had in December when Bitcoin hit $20,000. Now, when looking at the ETFs, the exchange-traded funds, for those of you that aren't familiar with that, what that's going to do is have cryptocurrencies actually listed on the major legacy stock markets and exchanges. So we can actually see more of that introduction and that normalization of cryptocurrencies.
Excuse me, we have a question in the chat.
Sure.
Nicholas is asking, what's your take on Ethereum Classic?
Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is actually a fork of the original Ethereum project. They had a lot of discussions to the sense that it polarized the community and it split off, and it was all in regards to the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization of the cryptocurrency. Ethereum Classic itself, I think, is a great coin, always has been, and I'm glad to see that it's having the adoption that it has based off of what Coinbase is doing with it. Now, Coinbase said they're going to be actively trading the Ethereum Classic. However, when I went to go purchase something, they listed it on the exchange, but they didn't have it available for purchase, so you can actually do any trading with it. I think it's a solid coin that's going to do very well on Coinbase and very well on the market. I'm actually shocked how much it's been lagging over Ethereum. Even though the Ethereum coin itself has Vitalik Buterin and a lot more marketing and views of it, I really expected Ethereum Classic to be in a higher standing prior to this point. But it's really showing that Ethereum itself, who I'm actually going to get to that in one of the news stories, it's not performing as well as it would like. The delays on Plasma and the delays on integration of advancements in the code have really hampered the advancement of Ethereum itself. And we've seen that price just kind of holding at 300 rather than going higher and shooting up like you would expect it based off its market cap and ranking. But Ethereum Classic, I can easily see it going into the top 10, maybe even push out Litecoin into the top 5. So that's my personal opinion on it. I think it'd be a great performance for it to do that, and it's overall a good coin. So with that in mind, just finish up the quarter. I really think that we're going to have more increase over the quarter, but I don't expect it to be too high. So now, getting into our top stories, as I mentioned. Oh, any other questions in the chat?
No questions in the chat.
Outstanding. So, getting into our top stories. Last week, the big story was the price change on Bitcoin. Bitcoin was actually 2 weeks ago over $8,000, and it's since dropped to $6,400. And around midweek, I think it was about the 14th, it actually dipped under 6,000, which a little nerve-wracking for those of us in cryptocurrency, but for those of us who are truly veterans and strong hodlers, it was a great opportunity to pick up more and do some dollar cost averaging for everything that you have going on in your portfolio. So what we did see is it dipped under that 6,000 mark, but then quickly ran back up. So the reason I see a lot of that going is that you have a lot of activity with short trades. So the ability to short cryptocurrency wasn't available last year, so it wasn't prominent and it wasn't active there. Plus last year the environment was a lot more conducive to the growth. So you can get all this information and these stories in my show notes by putting your email address into the chat, and we'll go ahead and get you onto our email list so you can actually follow along with what I'm talking about rather than just hearing me talk about it. Like, oh, what's the name of this? And, oh, hey, that chart looks really cool. Oh, it's fine. So be sure to drop your email address in for that. Or you can go ahead and message me through the Bitcoin BCN education group or BCN education page, and we'll get you added to that list as well. So that bounce back is what I feel is the most important portion of what happened last week. It truly shows the resiliency of cryptocurrency. People may have shorted it based off of the denial of adding it as an ETF, but they know that it's still growing. They still see that last year it was half as much as what it is now. So we know that the future is going to be even better. And Q4 always has some great surprises in cryptocurrencies. The other key article that I'm really going to focus on is with Genesis Mining. Now, Genesis Mining had to do a update into its contracts. The main reasoning behind that being, with the price of Bitcoin dropping, it threatened their ability to perform and maintain the contracts they have. As a business, it's not good to run negative money. That means you're just bleeding out that money. So it had to reevaluate the contracts that it had just to make sure that it can stay in business. Because that threshold to make profitability and loss is always a delicate balance. And particularly in crypto, with the ability to swing so much and the volatility, it can really throw off a business plan. So now that's also something that comes into focus for Bitmain, who's just started a new facility, I believe it was in Texas, and they're both large players in the Bitcoin mining industry. Now, I really feel as a company they should work on diversifying into other coins. That way they're more resilient and more adaptable. But still sticking with the granddaddy of it isn't particularly a problem. But the price fluctuations can be more damaging to them as a business model based off of the functionality. So say that, for example, the ETF gets denied again and doesn't join the market. What's that going to do to the price? It could theoretically even drop it down to, some analysts say, as low as 4,000. I would buy more if it weren't that low, but that's not really going to help out a lot of people that are new, and a lot of businesses are going to consider adding Bitcoin and joining that massive adoption group that we're really looking for. However, what some of the cooler heads in the legacy markets have said is they like the idea of starting a new market exchange that's going to have regulation and that's going to be less volatile, which would be alongside the legacy markets, which I think is actually a more logical solution rather than trying to bring in the animal that cryptocurrency is with the domesticated and housebroken animal of the legacy markets. So, anything else in our chats?
Not now. No.
Okay. So, the other thing For our top stories, be sure to check in with BitcoinCryptoNews so you can stay abreast of those. So we update and have articles added daily, constantly, hourly. So be sure to look in on that and let me know what other stories you think would be significant for the week that we can cover up next week. So now, with that, today's big story is actually on the Ethereum price. Ethereum's been holding around 300 and dipping below 300 for a while, and was actually 400 just a few weeks ago. So the big question is, why can't Ethereum get its feet under it? Why can't it just take off or become more solid and stable as it has been before? I really feel that the instability has actually been caused to largely the EOS mainnet launch. What you're looking at, EOS as a token started out on the Ethereum platform, and then it grew up and now it started its own mainnet. The thing is, it has investors it needs to take care of, the development team obviously needs to eat and maintain a roof over its head, and just players in that whole industry need to actually convert into fiat dollars to maintain the business model and to provide for growth. That means it's a drain of funds out of Ethereum. And because of that drain, so I really feel it's been kicking off that drop in pricing and the connection of it. So what you can expect in the future is that Ethereum either is going to balance out, I would say a little bit higher than this because the smart contracts that it has, not to mention with the name recognition that Ethereum has, it will still be recognized and it'll still have a good mass adoption focus, but I don't know if it's going to still go up to the highs that it would like to be at. And in the $1,500 range is still very plausible, but overall it'll still be considerably less in comparison to Bitcoin based off that, unless they can figure out a better way to actually incorporate the additions of plasma, increase the speed, deal with the scalability issues, which it's a great team over there. I really feel like they're going to be able to overcome that, but I'd like to see a little more activity and more accomplishments on everything they have going on. So with that price below, they can go ahead and curtail more of that blood loss and that draw away as people launch their tokens onto their own mainnets and other platforms. So, anything else we have going on in our channel?
Nicholas said that he is sharing it.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Yeah, we always appreciate that. Friends, family, everyone else that might be interested in cryptocurrency, really would like to see those shares going out. And I really wanted to put in an incentive program. I just didn't have quite enough as far as the software capabilities through MailChimp and some other applications to really get that point system going. But it's in the works, so I will make sure that we can incentivize sharing of it. So now, particularly for people that we have new in cryptocurrency, one thing we like to focus on is the other coins besides Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the mother, the granddaddy, the coup de grace of cryptocurrency. However, there's 1,800 different cryptocurrencies. So each day we focus on one currency and take a minute of our time to go ahead and explain that. You can go to our Facebook page on BCN _education, and you can see the past videos. So like last week on Monday, all right, anyway, so last week on Monday, we focused on Kincoin. And in the show notes, you can get the link directly to Kincoin so you can see that video. On Tuesday, we went over Chainlink, and you can go back and see that video. Wednesday, we had Next NXT. Thursday was True USD, which I really think that people should look into that coin. Because as far as stable coins go, that's showing the most promise for future stability. And then we finished up Friday with Electroneum, another fantastic project. And Electroneum has tremendous potential to incorporate the unbanked. And those being the people that they like to refer to as the third world nations, which I don't think there's any third world. I think everybody's one world, so there's no need to have rankings like that. However, a lot of these people in India, throughout Africa, in some of the island nations, don't have access to banking like in standardized countries that have the extensive banking markets that we have here. So what Electroneum allows is mining through a smartphone or a smart device and the ability to transfer funds. So it allows the banking of the unbanked. And banks really want to be able to predict how much money they can make and provide lower risk as far as the investments they do financially. And they avoid a lot of these other markets throughout India, throughout Africa, and the island nations. Whereas this cryptocurrency will allow them the ability to make money on that and truly change lifestyles. Because the big strength and key focus of cryptocurrency is its ability to create wealth. You have people that our first millionaires from Bitcoin were made in 2011 when it went from $1 up to $10. So we have significant gains for lots of people. And this same potential can happen between Electronium, which I didn't write down the price of what it's trading at right now, but it just goes up 2 or 3 decimal points. You've changed entire lives, families, and futures. So a lot of potential there for that. We have anything else going on in our chat?
Nope.
All right, so I'll go ahead and finish it up. We're here to help you. Please let us know what more information you'd like to see, how we do on the show, what expectations you have for cryptocurrency, and we can go ahead and discuss that. In the show notes, we also have our donational page. So you can go ahead and donate to the show so we can do this more often and more frequently for you. But the biggest thing I like to do is make sure we have classes and we can teach others about cryptocurrency. We actually have a live course that's going to be going on Tuesday nights for our beginners and Thursday nights for our intermediate or more advanced people. That's starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can go ahead and reach out to us either on the Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, on our Minds, or on our Twitter account, or any of our social media platforms about getting access to that page and joining that class so you can be welcomed into the world of cryptocurrency. So it also has our referral links to start your accounts with Coinbase, CoinMama, other exchanges like Cryptopia, and our donational addresses if you'd like to drop us any coin. So with that, Mr. I, any parting words?
Thanks for watching, guys. See us again next week, okay?
All right. Thanks for coming out. You all have a lovely day. And hey, just remember, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
That's right.